Hello everyone, how's it going today? Thought I'd show an update on some of the progress made on this alien CV, both on the inside and a couple mods on the outside. To start with, on the outside, I dropped the landing gear down by another block and built out these sections here. So you have this done on both sides, and then the rear landing gear as well. And then I had to lower down the ramps on the sides and the back another block to make that all work. So I've got all that set up. Um, the back keeps on getting bigger and bigger back over here, but it's getting it off the ground a little bit more. Um, and then I made a change with the pulse lasers. Originally they started actually at this block over here. I moved them all out and kind of spaced them out evenly, and then added some, I don't know what you would want to call it, little spiky blocks kind of on that row by them. I thought it kind of looked kind of neat. Added a little bit more depth to the ship there. I'm not sure about my end block here, though. I keep on thinking I ought to pull this row back another block. I'll probably end up doing that. So that's on the exterior. Now the interior, from where it was on the last video, I mapped out a lot differently. But I started with the same frame that was made there, but one of the big issues with it was the fact that I had all these floors that were two blocks high, and that was going to be a problem covering up the farm section. And then I also didn't know what to do with all the space in the floors. So I kind of redesigned it. One of my big issues that I had was I have these side landing pads over here that are kind of elevated, and I did not like how it was connecting over here. So I came up with this idea to make this very big curvy chunk here that kind of goes all the way up to the floor, or all the way down to the floor from the ceiling there, and perfectly lines up with the top area of where these were. And then I used that as a frame, and I started mounting floors in between these two areas. So we still have our vehicle bay down here, but then above it there's a landing pad. Crafting area is going to be down in here yet, and there's actually going to be a way from this landing pad directly into the crafting area. But now we got a 4-block ceiling here, which is really cool because I can add some detail and totally cover up these farm blocks. And then of course the side vehicle bays, I'm kind of getting those plotted out a little bit. Over here I did a test to see what I could fit in them. And I will say that this was extremely tight fit and not easy to do, but I did manage to successfully park a Gigantes on these. Obviously not much space left over, but for normal sized tanks and things, I think it would work out pretty good. Even the Demos or the Creel tank would easily fit in there, as well as the Gast or any of those other vehicles. So I textured just a little bit in this section over here. Try to come up with some neat glass things, and this is at the front edge of the farm. And then what I did do is I filled in the areas that used to have farm blocks over here. But I also worked on this whole front area quite a bit. Here, let me get it to mood lighting here a minute. So this is kind of what we look like at night inside the ship, and this is really what I try to tune it for. So your bridge is up here. I'm going to have some LCD displays up in there. I'm still exploring with the idea of having some projection displays in places, and I might try to pull that off before it's all said and done, but I wanted to get a lot of progress done this week on the interior. It's a big task, and there's just a lot to do. So anyway, this is how this area looks. So from the bridge itself, on the flow of the ship, if you leave from here and go down either hallway, you'll come across an elevator here, and this leads you everywhere. So you can hop into your farm, you can get down to the crafting area like right away, or probably go up on the ship to the top deck as well. Now this top floor is not really done at all yet. I didn't even build walls for it. This is a big space again, and I intend it to extend like all the way back to around this point here. And this area up here, I was looking to have the temple, the alien temple area to be. So that's going to give quite a bit of room, fairly tall ceiling to pull that off. And I think it should work out pretty good, hopefully. Don't mind the glass up here, that's probably going to be cut. Now another thing that's going to be plopped in probably somewhere in this vicinity over here is a secure bridge. And that is going to be heavily protected and no external view at all. So that's coming. Let me get lights back on a minute. And what I wanted to do now actually is work out another area of the ship, and I would like to try to get it done from start to finish here. And that is the front entry bay, or basically where this ramp is that goes down to the front. It'd be really cool if I could get this part banged out. And it's got a fair amount to do here at the time. But I figured I'd try here. Trying to get an idea on what we got for blocks out here. Now my idea, what I'm thinking about trying to do is to have some beams kind of come up on these sides here and round off and like curve out to about this area, which would be the side of the crafting section. And then just kind of, I want to make sure I can get a light or two and a sensor on the ceiling in the area. It's got a full 5 blocks before it gets to the farms, so that's pretty cool. A lot of space now. So tell you what here, let's get started on this. This is the one thing I don't like about symmetry, though, and that the texture it uses to tell you where the symmetry edges are, is when you're dealing with tight spaces like this. I still think this is just too much to see. I'd rather have it just have like a slight tint or indicator. So first thing I want to do is figure out what blocks need to be here and what blocks don't need to be, or should I say full blocks. So here, I'm going to blow away a little bit of this right now. Say up to that area there. And then I wanted to try to figure out if we wanted to do an arc or like a curve that kind of comes up and goes up to there. Let's start that down here somehow. And then these also have to be completely filled in, so that's a big thing there. So let's see here. I was thinking about starting it with this particular block and just seeing how it comes out. Give a little bit of a curve in there too, except that's not the right angle. Could it be? Nah. How about this? Okay, so say we start our curve here. Ooh, that's just not going to work out good on the sides. Okay, so yuck. Well, I wonder, can I do something with the outside of this to bring that out a little bit? I think that might be the better plan. Okay, so starting at the angle here, I do like that, but of course that leaves a hole out here, so let's try to do something about the hole out here somehow. You might have to take out a couple of these blocks to fix that. And if it did something like this. More or less. So for maybe this ought to come out more here. And can a block fit between the two of those? I don't think so. If it did, it would have to be like this. No, that's not going to work out either. Okay. Just keep it how it was, I guess. I'll try to figure out how to make that fit a little bit better there. But continuing on the inside here. So the next part here, this probably ought to do a transition a bit to start arcing it upward. Except I can see that I left it at a half block angle, so it's not going to line up right now. So the only thing I can really do about that is extend it up another row at the same angle it's at. About like this here. And then switch into that. And then what I'm thinking is take the same angle, reverse it, or go the opposite direction with it so it can come out like this. Not really the curve I was looking for. Doesn't look bad though. Just not really what I was trying for. That is getting awfully close to the ceiling too. Let's try again. Oops. I blow away a farm block here. So if I did this, I would actually have to start the transition down on this row. But let's take that up further then. So we're at 3 blocks high. Still kind of weak. Guess I'm keeping all this in combat armor for the time being, even though this part here I don't believe should be. But I definitely want the walls down there in combat armor. So yeah, this part sucks. Now, it was brought up in the comments too that using the multi-tool that I could go here to upgrade or swap these blocks out without replacing them. I haven't found any way to do that though. Either converting carbon substrate to combat steel or vice versa. So I guess I don't exactly know what was meant by that because I haven't found it to work at all. So the only way I could like swap these blocks to carbon substrate that I know of yet is just to blow them out and put in new blocks here. So that was just something that came up, and I thought it'd been really cool, but maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I just do not know how to get that to work. Um, so I kind of like that. I think that comes up decently. And you know, it could go up another row here too. Probably should. So let's just round that off and do the same thing here. Okay. So now it kind of looks like we have a frame that comes here, especially if it joins up to the wall on this section here. I think it would probably look appropriate. So on the inside here, we got a little bit of room. Granted, the side of the ship's over here. Still kind of trying to go for that 2-block layer or outer hull before it gets to internal areas. So that's kind of neat. I can get a row of blocks there. But here, this area might be able to be twisted so we have an inverse of the beam here, which I think could look kind of neat too and define this a little bit better. So, how do I go about this here? So I think something like that. Not sure how this area should go here. Let's try this first and see if it looks decent or not. Okay, those are full blocks there. So let's get rid of a couple of these here. Oh, that one cannot be gotten rid of. That probably won't work out too well then. Okay, never mind on that. Pop in full blocks again, and we'll just take, see, back to substrate here. Do I really need combat steel there? Yeah, I think I do. Okay, good. Alright, well, kind of looks like there's a little bit of a frame there. Guess I'm not liking what I got going on over here, though. Maybe that indentation is not the hot ticket here, so just simplify it and just do regular blocks there. Okay, now outer hull. Let's get some more combat steel in here. Also, too, as this ramp goes down, too, I'm trying to figure out, you know, there's this space up on the front side of the ramp that's really not accessible. Maybe that'd be a nice opportunity to add some kind of big curvy piece, something like what I did on the this back area over there. Alright, so we need combat steel on this first row here for that. So I'll tell you what, we're just going to put in a couple blocks there for now. And what about the bottom? No, I don't need combat steel there. Okay. Go from that to this. I think I just want to reverse that here. So I want the arc to come that way. Maybe I went out too far with that then. Start here. And then maybe start to reverse that. Let's see. I think that could probably work. Alright. Man, it goes way out here too. Alright. So what to put in the center between those two beams? Or should these beams be angled like the bottom part is? I don't know. I don't think they necessarily need the angle. Just trying to make this a little tougher over here, but something ought to take place on the center here too. These blocks. So how would that be done? I'd like to get this third different kind of angle in here somehow, but I gotta find an appropriate spot for it. Not really. There's only one block up there, so that actually needs to be all filled in. How about a different formation completely here? Trying to do another one of those. Maybe try to dive in and do some curvy something or other for decoration. And this whole area pretty much needs to be combat steel, at least down here. Okay, we got that and that. Could be done in the center here to make that look interesting. try something different. Like that in the middle, maybe? I don't know. I'm looking at a lot of wasted space up here, though. Guess I'm not too worried about it, but I hate filling in blocks and wasting room in the process. Wow, look how thick that is there already. Hell. Alright. So in the center here, maybe I can actually migrate in this kind of thing. Is starting to disguise these grow plots up there a little bit. But what if we did something? Been trying to get some like skeletal frames in this thing all over the place too. And that's kind of definitely experimental for me. I'm not used to doing those kinds of things, but I think it's kind of cool trying though. Sometimes I have success, sometimes I don't, but the more I do it, the better or the easier it seems to get, and might discover something new that I can do with these builds. Yeah, so that's, I don't mind that. Here, you know what? Let's see if we can get some extra detail by using one of these things in here too. They kind of are like a thin block, or like one of those wall blocks, but a little bit different. Maybe if done right. Starting to take shape at least. Okay, so back on the front. Oh my god, look at all that stuff up there. Okay, so really nothing up here really needs to be combat steel anymore. No, that's pretty bulky there. So this is a spot that I guess some ship parts could be added. Or should I just, since it is the front of the ship though, right below the bridge. Yeah, maybe here, I'll toughen up this row up here. And on the sides. Just not exactly sure what to put back over here. I guess there is space though. Could try to throw in some fuel tanks. This wood, you know, it's got a nice spot actually to hide in a gravity generator there, but that would only extend to probably about to this area of the ship. But you know, maybe that could work. I originally wanted to put the gravity generator more centered, but I guess I'll have to play with it and see if it could actually truly go here. I'll leave room there now. I'll tell you what, we'll just seal this off. inside of there too. But I do know that these need to be walls here, or filled in, I should say. So we can have that whole area covered. And this little thing I did on the opposite side here is just not really working out very well now. Could it be saved that way? Having the slits I don't mind. A little way you can kind of see through here. We'll try something here. If I try to do that, I can fill that in. Maybe I'm going about this the wrong way here. Huh. Don't know. Because the only thing that seems to work is just like going up like this. And then like that there. That's kind of cool. Alright, so when this is fully up, it's up to that part of the floor there. Guess that all works out. And alright, so now the corners of the room, we're going to stairways there right now. Even though those stairways, I might actually bring in a block, which I think I should. This area here, let's try to do it with some kind of angle. Okay, and then something here. See, all those are just full blocks, aren't they? Oh, that one isn't. Well, that sucks. If I did that, it wouldn't go down far enough. So let's make the other side match. Actually, yeah, just this here. And just trying to do everything as trippy as I can with these the walls on this ship. That's something I've been trying to do all over, is just to have a lot of curvy stuff going on. But it's kind of rough. Some places they just don't want to work very well for that. This whole switching back and forth between blocks kind of takes a little bit too. Not much. Okay, so there's a little bit of the exposed firm blocks up there. I think the way that it's done though, especially if they're blacked out with some accents on the other parts, you really won't see them. And this gives you a pretty tall ceiling in here. Now something I think I screwed up on though, just a bit. Here, I gotta get rid of this symmetry plate a minute. I want to get a light and a sensor on this center row in here, somewhere between this area here. So the only way I'm going to really be able to do that is not have it go so high into the ceiling. I almost like to have this come out at this height. I don't like the... Okay. Screw up that pattern. Something good over there, though. I don't know. I can just keep that there, I guess. So let's see, our wall to this room is going to be here. Just put something there a minute, see how this comes out. Alright, so this part ought to start curving back down. course, I turn off symmetry now. I don't know. So hard to work at the center in symmetry. At least for me. There's probably just something, something wrong with me that way. I don't know. Start an angle that starts coming down here, maybe that. No, that's too far. No, actually, I think that was right. Okay, so there, that full block down to wall. Okay. Starting to take shape. And yeah, that's pretty easy. Okay, so hopping up to this row into the crafting area. Center section probably ought to have some windows and stuff. And what to do with the walls over here. This area be left a little bit open or not. Again, a bunch of room on the insides over here. I normally don't like to waste space like that, but I don't know, this is a strange build for me, so I guess it's not. I guess it's all kind of uniform that way. This looks terrible. What do I got going on over here? This angle doesn't mesh, so these should be. Oh crap! I did it again. So that has to be like that, and this has to be like that. Okay. And that doesn't line up to this. Alright, because I did this at a different angle. We're going to have to change that. There, okay, so that meets now. This would be kind of a neat area to show maybe some parts a little bit through the floor there, like potentially something not super critical, but like maybe some air tanks. Only thing that sucks about doing Alien though is even when I use parts, it's got like English on it. It's like, O2, oxygen. Yeah, you wouldn't see that actually on an Alien CV, but oh well. And despite all that, let's then go into like a curve over here for the heck of it. Or a curve that goes into a solid square. to the main elevator. I don't really want to fill that in yet. It's all these little corners and nooks and crannies of the ship that are kind of, oh hey, you know, maybe something can be utilized from the top over here instead. Tell you what, let's slam in another air tank there. How protected is that area? Not very. Maybe up the steel. Oh shoot. Screwed that up. Wrong block. And how strong are you here? Decent. Might be a spot. I want to have the main parts like fuel tanks, RCS, things like that distributed throughout the vehicle, or throughout the ship. So I'm thinking this might be a nice opportunity to stick just a couple of fuel tanks here. If it gets blown up, not a big deal, because there'll be a whole lot more in other places. But this could be like one nice little area up here to hold some of these parts. So we'll stick one fuel tank. We're going to the inside, the outside. We gotta. That's like, oh, never mind. That's only one block, isn't it? God, it's so tough. You have to drill right there, smack it right there though, to hit that fuel tank, and it's still not. I guess if you hit it right there. Okay, you're out of there. And let's put it in another row. Beef that up. And just a couple more there. That's pretty decent. Well, I'll address that side area later. My main point was really to try to get this room laid out. And I think it's kind of coming along pretty good. Except for I turned off symmetry and screwed up one side from the other again. Darn it! Alright, let me just fix this side to match that side. Okay, so you need to go back in again. You look like that. I need to reverse you. Do this that way. Switch you to this block over here. Just fill it in. I may get symmetry back on too, jeez. I think it's crafted out all right now. This would be a nice opportunity to put in a sensor and a light. So let's say we throw a sensor somewhere up here. And kind of using these lights as more of a standard alien light, I guess. Whatever that might be. A light there. Okay, so I'm not so worried about the back of the room. Alright, so I think that's the block work, more or less, for this area. I'll treat this as like a part of the crafting area when I get the walls in there. Now it's switching over to texturing this stuff. Alright, let's get symmetries, try to save a little time on it. So right now what I'm just kind of doing is going over all the areas that I know nothing's really going to look good trying to texture it. So I'm not even bothering trying. All these weird angles and stuff like this that I'm just going to have no luck with doing this kind of thing with. But I'm leaving some, like areas that I could actually texture. I'm trying to leave those open. I found that if I, well, that works, I guess. If I do this, I can save a little bit of time. I don't know if I'll keep that or not, but I'm trying to get some border changes in there. I gotta see how this part's gonna color. Almost into this bottom area. Well, about those little parts I put in there. Let me swap those out for now. Back to just standard thin blocks there. Okay, so let's try to get all these little borders done for now. And what I'm kind of thinking about attempting to try to do over here is to get some texture lights potentially, like there. Just a couple. Don't want to overdo it. And yeah, that ain't gonna texture with the crap either, so we'll fill that in. Got another one of these here. Okay. Now what to do with this main column here. Probably overdoing that particular texture a little bit, but try to get some breakups in there somewhere. Maybe. Alright, so on the insides here, let's go with something like that. I was just going to texture up. Do a lot of stuff with this particular texture, I guess it depends, or this block textures kind of neatly. For now, that could be fine tweaked later. Now I did start using this texture again with this ship. I just didn't have enough textures available to really try to get much of a look through, so I know I said I wasn't going to use that one, but here and there I have been using. It's just been more sparing than I have done with the humans. I just tend to use it an awful lot. Once in a while I stick in like a regular metal texture too. Very sparingly though. If it's got weird angles, I don't bother. Never mind. Guess I did all that so I could get this one seam mark over there. A little bit of an idea here on that. Wonder if I can't kind of hide that up a little bit so you only see half the row. There is no, I don't believe there's a transition block to deal with a thin angle like that. Well, keep it that way anyway for now. Alright. So we got air tanks. Maybe something unique here. Here's something else that could potentially be a texture light. And okay. Nope. What I'm trying to do here is get a little bit of, I don't know, something in here to make it look kind of neat. How about that? What a mess. Oh, I see. That ain't gonna work. Alright. I hate having everything so smooth like that. I'd like to get some contrast in it, but this just keeps happening where there's not much you can do. Sometimes add a stripe, but Maybe if I can pull it off in a formation, it won't look too out of place. And I'm going to turn off symmetry to get the other side. Okay, so I guess we're now, oh, almost. Let me do a couple more things, and that, just keep that pretty smooth for now, I guess. Alright, good enough. Almost. Okay. So, coloring. Alright, so in the normal scheme here, what I've been kind of doing is these bottom rows I've been doing in the this kind of black. And with symmetry on though, there's so many things that you got to keep on hitting up differently. It's almost like it doesn't save that much time in this case, but still saves time. Okay, so we've got a black there. Oops, another missing texture there. Okay, I'll just keep that section like that. Okay, and you know what? I'm going to keep this black too. Going all the way up. Right. Let's get these lights tweaked. I might remove those top ones yet. I think I got a little bit too much of that going on here. These might go away too. Okay. So these grades I've been doing in a different tone, a little bit more of a blue-gray. Same thing with that. Okay, so the walls here, thinking we'll go to a darker tone of purple and do a kind of a gradient fade. So we start out with that wall being like that, and then the next row up, I'll go one shade lighter, which is actually here. I kind of did it weird. Except for those vents. Next row. Oh. Okay. Next row up, we'll go to one shade brighter. These are very subtle differences, by the way, too. Okay. Okay, and then one shade brighter again. Hit these with that. Alright, floor. Didn't even think about that yet. A couple of these. Some of that. Floor's not going to be too much. I haven't yet found a whole lot I can do with the floor space. I really ought to investigate using something different, though, to get some texture lights on the floor, which I do like to do. That's starting to look in theme. Alright, so steps. Kind of like these steps, especially at night. I just got to remember what I did with these. I think And yeah, if you're new to the game too, you could definitely texture these the staircases that I'm using. I think I did that on that part. What do I do on the sides here? Okay, the sides, I believe that. And I think that's it. And on coloring, if I did that and that. I don't think it looks great during the daytime this way, but at night it looks pretty cool, I think. So, and like I said, I wish there was a way I could do both, or well, control the lighting inside the ship. This area here I think is a little too busy, and I think for now I'm going to cut these top texture lights. Tone it down a little bit. This also is a little busy too. I think using this texture with that in the background is just potentially too much. So maybe I should investigate something that's a little smoother. And a little bit of forgotten area over here. Alright, so now to set up the light. There's only one in here right now. Could add more, but let's just get this one set. I've been typically using this shade, but I've been trying to use some other blues, and I would like to use this, but god man, this one stands out so differently from the others that I've been not liking it. Really wish I had a mid-tone, something in between this and that. I think would be awesome. That's why one of the features I'd love to see happen is where you could create your own custom light colors. I think that would be pretty cool. Let's just see hypothetically what this looks like. I'm going to turn off the lighting, or I'll turn off the time of day here. See what we look like at night now. Kind of a start. It illuminates. Needs some little decals or something somewhere yet. I know I want some more accents here. But you see the general look of it. And that's kind of what I've been doing with this particular alien scheme. Light again. Alright, so might as well rig something here too. Color the sensor. Let's see, front ramp. Sounds good enough. Should that extend to? Okay, so just before it. Okay, that should do it. Assign this to front ramp and a light to front ramp. So, you walk up here, you get over to here, that opens up, light turns on. Oh, forgot to do the texturing of the inside of this area. That's all right. I'll do that at another time. But basically, I just kind of wanted to show you the process I'm doing to building out rooms. And keep in mind, most areas of the ship, this is like the first layer, I guess you could say, of like the detail and things like that. Now, I do plan on going through and trying to tweak out a lot of these rooms, maybe improve the texture, a couple block changes, decals, deco items, console displays or other things. Just everything and anything I can do to bring out the looks of it. So it's kind of how I do all this stuff, and it takes some time, but I really like to, once I get it to this point, tweaking it out some more, it isn't so bad and it's not so daunting. But with a ship this size with so many places to do, I got to try to like keep on banging off one area at a time until I can eventually get it all done. and it's going to take a while yet, but like I said, interiors take far longer for me than the exteriors of ships. So, and this one's big, so it's just got a lot of space to do. I am very glad though that I cut away like an extra floor in this area that it didn't need, and it'll make all the other floors that are still there look better because of more block space and ceiling height and things like that. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you can kind of see what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. If you got any questions, let me know. And I'm still curious on that, on the comments that were about changing the blocks. Maybe it's just the blocks I'm using. I know you can upgrade like steel blocks to combat steel, but carbon substrate doesn't seem to upgrade or change to nothing. And I can't also bring combat steel down to carbon substrate. So, well, there you have it. And y'all have a good day. I'll probably be back in a couple days with another video on the updates. Maybe potentially try to do another area yet again on the ship until it eventually gets complete. All right. See you later.